Hi, I'm Greg from Second Thoughts East Yorkshire. The subject for today is the art of conversation. Right, that's it then. I'll see you next time. No, I'm only joking, honestly. More specifically, today I'm going to talk about conversations using your telephone, both speech calls only and FaceTime calls. Now, to many people this may seem a trivial issue, but to quite a few folk it can be really testing. As we carry on with social distancing, most of us are relying on keeping in touch with family and friends using a few methods. Social media is popular, mainly Facebook, although that has good and bad points, which is something I'll talk about in a future video. One of the plus points in sending messages through Facebook, Twitter, or other social media platforms is that you get plenty of time to think of things to say in between typing your messages. The same applies with sending text messages. So with any type method of communication, there are no lengthy silences in the chatting as there can be on the phone, either just talking or on FaceTime when both parties can see one another. Now, these silences in a conversation when no one's speaking can sometimes feel a little uncomfortable. Indeed, a kind of pressure builds with both parties thinking of something to say. Does that ever happen to you? Using the telephone either in the usual way or on a video call, such as through Skype or one of the other video call systems, doesn't allow us the luxury of time to think of things to say. So many people struggle and anxiety levels can ramp up. For some people, this can escalate from being a feeling of discomfort into a real fear of using the telephone. Now, to make matters worse, that can result in people only ever using the telephone for essential or official calls, which can build the fear up even more into a phobia for some. So how can we overcome that barrier? Well, through practicing telephone conversation, so reducing tension levels and getting acclimatised so you become more comfortable with being on the telephone. Easier said than done, I hear you say. Yes, it is, but here are some tips to help. Number 1, have a list next to you before you make a call. Have the list to hand so you can see it easily. That way you won't get flustered and forget any points that you want to get across. It's really important if your call is official in any way, maybe to your GP or to a business for any reason, but to friends and family it can help too. The first rule of conversation is that you don't have to talk all the time. Conversation is a two-way process and involves listening as well as speaking. Remember to listen and remember to breathe. Number 3, if you're doing a FaceTime call where you can see each other's faces, try to smile a little too and try to make occasional eye contact. Difficult when you're using cameras, but try it, and normally 2 to 5 seconds at a time is good. Number 4, if you're on a face-to-face call, try to look presentable. If you look like you've just crawled out from underneath a privet bush, you'll most probably feel grotty too. So dressing presentably, maybe having a wash or a shave if you're a guy, maybe some ladies, it has been a long time, but it'll help you to feel better. And having a physical appearance that's pleasing convinces your mind that you're in a better mood too. I know it's only a phone call, it's not a night out, but you will feel much better by looking better. Number 5, decide why you want to chat to someone. Is it to make you feel more comfortable? Maybe to make the other person feel more comfortable? Perhaps both. Or is there a message you need to get across? It may be just keeping in touch. But try and think of the reason, because that can give you an additional subject to talk about. Talking of subjects, number 6. The weather's always a good way of getting people chatting, saying something like, isn't it nippy today, or that wind is strong, or it's really warm today, or it's nice and sunny, always works well. Number 7. Normally watching the news is good for conversation topics, but at the moment there's pretty much only one subject on it, isn't there? Now, it's important to take the current situation seriously, particularly around social distancing, but also keep an eye for any positive developments. There's some good news on the environment with pollution reducing. People are making full recoveries and there's some success stories about that. And there are a few positive developments on vaccines as well. So keep your eye open for that. And it's a good subject to talk about because it's upbeat and it's optimistic. If you like any type of sport, that may be a good subject. For example, football, cricket, rugby or tennis. I know there's nothing happening at the moment, but it's an interesting subject for many people, especially about local teams or players. For example, you could discuss how you think things may work out for your local team when the situation eases. In the case of Hull City, not so optimistic really. But it does need both parties to be interested in the sport, of course. Number 9. Listen to what the other person's saying. If they state an opinion, you can ask them for more information. For example, if you say it's cold and they reply that they saw the weather forecast suggesting that the cold spell will last, you can ask them how long that's likely to last or where they saw it. Just have a chat about the weather generally. Number 10. Look around you where you are as you do chat. You can comment on something you see in your room or maybe outside your window. It could be a picture that you're looking at, perhaps an ornament. It may be something on a table, on a coffee table nearby. It could be the coffee that you're drinking, if you have one, or a cup of tea or something. And you can look outside. Maybe you see somebody potting around in the garden. You may see a car drive past, or you may see some plant or tree or something. But it's all additional subjects for conversation. Number 11. When you're watching TV during the day or on an evening, have a notepad near you so you can jot down something that springs to mind, anything at all. So it'll be just a prompt, a reminder for you to chat about next time you're on the telephone with someone. Very importantly, the items that you discuss with one person, you can discuss with someone else because remember they've not heard you having the first chat. So it might be a bit repetitive for you, but for the other person, they've not heard that. So you don't have to dream up a new conversation for every individual call that you make or receive. Number 12. Learn to pick up cues from what the other person's saying during your conversation. A simple example is if the other person says, I spent some time pottering around in my garden today or yesterday, you could say, oh, you had an hour or so outside, what did you do? That leads them then to go into more detail so the subject lasts a little longer. It also shows that you're listening and that you're interested. Even if it isn't a subject that you'd normally find that riveting, it's something to talk about. Number 13. Once the conversation's going well, you can tell them something that you think about them. For example, that's a lovely top or dress or shirt, it really suits you. Never say a negative comment like, that dress is awful, it makes you look absolutely terrible. It should always be complimentary because you're trying to cheer each other up and trying to become more upbeat. Number 14. Once you've started chatting, try to use open questions. These are questions that need more than a yes or no answer. And the words to use to start your open question are who, which, where, when, why, how and what. So it's all the W's and one H with a how. That way the person will give a longer answer, keeping this conversation going once again. Complimenting people about their pets always works well. You can tell them what a gorgeous dog or cat they have. People love to chat about their pets. These tips are just a prompt to help you with overcoming any discomfort you may have using the telephone during these testing times. I'll pop them down on a slide and put them at the end of the video so that you've got something to hand if you're looking for ideas. I do hope that you found them helpful. Anything that we can find to make life a little easier right now is a good thing. I'll be making some more videos over the next few days. I'll be looking particularly at grounding skills, things to help you bring you back to here and now, rather than drifting off into the what if mode or catastrophizing. And be looking at other subjects as well, like the strengths and downside of social media. So we'll be talking about those over the next few days. So many thanks for watching this. I'll see you soon. In the meantime, take care, stay safe, and good mental health. Bye.